Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer was seen by heaven. Archangel Michael has been preparing your miracle quietly. My beloved child, heaven has heard the tremble in your breath. The walls have known your whispers. The pillow has tasted your tears. And hear this with all the strength of your spirit. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer was seen by heaven. Archangel Michael has been preparing your miracle quietly. This is not a sweet phrase. It is a dispatched decree. While you felt abandoned in the hallway of delay, Michael stood at your doorway with a drawn sword, holding back what tried to swallow your hope. The silence you feared was not neglect. It was a holy incubation. Something alive has been growing behind the veil, and the movement begins now. Listen closely. The calendar that scared you cannot cancel what God scheduled. Delays have only packed more oil into the moment that's arriving. You kept thinking, maybe I missed my timing. Yet Michael kept reporting, the timing is being refined. On those nights when your chest felt heavy, an unseen hand lifted the weight long enough for you to breathe again. That was not luck. That was the general of heaven's armies patrolling your threshold, checking the hinges of your destiny, making sure what enters is appointed and what exits is bondage. Do not misread the quiet. The quiet is the workshop of miracles. In that hush, Michael has been turning keys you did not know existed. Keys to reconciliation where you expected another argument. Keys to provision from doors you never knocked on. Keys to a healing that will not be partial but whole. You felt ignored. Heaven was actually investigating. Archangel Michael, read the case file of your years. The betrayals, the broken promises, the bills that spoke louder than your faith, and stamped the margin with one word: overturned. The verdict of lack is being reversed. I see a staircase of obedience you climbed even when the light only reached the next step. That obedience has written your name into today's rescue. Michael has been sharpening a sword called suddenly. Suddenly, the email. Suddenly, the phone call. Suddenly, the closed door creaks open. Do not fear the speed. You are not being rushed. You are being recovered. What took months to break you will take minutes to break off you. Michael has also been trimming voices around you, removing the echo of doubt. Some exits were painful. They were also surgical. Infection cannot remain when glory is about to settle. Hear a stern kindness in this. Heaven tolerated your tears, but heaven will not tolerate your chains. The same God who watched your long night will not allow you to decorate the cage. Pack your spiritual bags. The eviction notice is not for you. It's for fear, for shame, for that chronic heaviness you assumed was just how I am. Michael has filed its removal. You will feel it lift in layers, first in your mind, then in your atmosphere, then in the results you touch. Expect lightness. Expect creative solutions that feel like they just occurred to you. That is angelic strategy landing as thought. You have asked, but why no answer then? Because God did not owe you a reply. He owed you a rescue. Replies inform. Rescues transform. Michael's orders were not to explain the delay but to end it. There are patterns that once stalked your family. Late help, little help, almost but not quite, and they are being cornered now. When you sense unusual peace where panic used to live, don't second guess it. That is heaven's footprint. Step into it quickly. Say out loud, I agree with the rescue. Agreement is the handle your miracle grabs to pull you forward. Someone listening has a promise that felt like a movie credit. Beautiful, but the screen already went black. Breathe. The credits were not the end. They were legal proof that your story bears the names of those heaven assigned to it. Fresh names are appearing. A mentor, a gate opener, a peacemaker, a physician with unusual insight, a financier with clean hands. Michael has been rerouting you away from counterfeits, so the right connections meet you without mixture. Do not mourn what fell off in the last season. It was reduction for precision. You asked for a harvest. Heaven cut away the weeds so the harvest doesn't spoil. There is a sound I hear, the click of an unchained lock. For you, it may manifest as clarity at 3:00 a.m. or a paperwork approval that should have taken weeks, or a conversation that finally softens a hard heart. When it appears, respond immediately. Gratitude will accelerate it, but obedience will anchor it. Michael stands at the threshold with a banner that reads, "Finish what fear interrupted." Projects will restart. Strength will return to your hands. Your voice will regain color. You will not tiptoe through your promise. You will walk in clothed and calm. As you receive this, place your hand over your heart and say, "Heaven saw me," because it did all of it. The fight in your mind, the private endurance nobody clapped for, the tiny choices to be pure when compromise seemed easier. Nothing slipped past the eyes of the one who keeps watch. And Michael, heaven's watchman, has kept a ledger of your faithfulness, not to earn your miracle, but to direct its landing. The coordinates are set to the address of your endurance. The delivery has your name on it, and it will not be signed for by fear. Hold steady right here. The next reveal is the moment that flips your inner weather from gray to glory. You will want to witness how Michael seals what he started. Type "I agree" with the rescue in the comments if this activated your spirit. Lesson code 1414 is now released over your next 7 days. What you are feeling right now, that strange calm after endless turbulence, is not ordinary peace. It is the vibration of heaven repositioning you. Archangel Michael has already moved ahead of you in the unseen, making arrangements for what your heart has prayed for but your words could not describe. There are angelic signatures on documents, approvals being whispered into the ears of decision makers, and delays that are dissolving because the divine has declared, "It is time." You must understand, when heaven declares time, no power on earth can stretch the waiting any longer. Every force that once mocked your progress is now confused because the clock has turned in your favor. The long nights that nearly broke your spirit were not wasted. In each sleepless hour, a deposit was being made into your destiny account. Every tear watered a seed you could not yet see. Michael watched you when you almost gave up, and he carried a report back to the throne, still standing. That report changed everything. Because of that single endurance, heaven has authorized restoration in layers: emotional, relational, financial, and spiritual. The areas you called dead are only sleeping. The hand that created the galaxies is about to shake those ashes into beauty. And Michael, the warrior of light, will deliver it himself, not as a messenger this time, but as a witness to your vindication. Do not confuse the quiet days as emptiness. The quiet means construction. When the architect of heaven builds something new, he silences the old noise. You are being positioned in an unfamiliar calm because that calm is preparation for divine movement. Your enemies will not even see it coming. They will simply watch as favor rearranges itself around you. Someone who once overlooked you will suddenly remember your name. The door that stayed locked will swing open as if it never had a lock at all. The miracle won't shout its arrival. It will appear in such stillness that only those who truly believe will recognize it for what it is. Heaven's reply arriving with precision. Michael has also been cleansing your surroundings. This is why certain connections have gone silent and some opportunities simply evaporated. Heaven removes noise before revealing clarity. You thought you were being forgotten, but you were being filtered. Every no was protecting you from premature exposure. There are moments ahead where you will look back and realize that rejection was redirection, and that loneliness was a womb of revelation. The Archangel has been guarding you like a sacred blueprint, ensuring no unclean hand copies what was meant to be revealed only through you. That's why your path looks different. You are not behind. You are being handcrafted. Now, hear this prophetic truth. When the spiritual climate shifts, your senses will feel strange. Fatigue might lift suddenly, and peace might settle in places you used to dread. Do not dismiss it. That is confirmation that your atmosphere has changed authority. Michael has declared that your territory now belongs under the light. You will notice divine coincidences. Someone saying the exact phrase you prayed last night, a random encounter aligning you to your next breakthrough, or even dreams that replay old pain only to end in victory. That's not imagination. That's angelic encryption decoding itself into your reality. Heaven is teaching you your new rhythm. And to those who say, "I've waited too long," the Spirit whispers through Michael, "You were not waiting for me. I was waiting for everything around you to be ready to hold what I promised. If it had come earlier, it would have been mishandled. Now, the ground is ready, the atmosphere is right, and your heart has been purified through fire. You are not being rewarded, you are being restored. There's a difference. Rewards are payments, restoration is resurrection. That's what heaven specializes in. So stand tall, even if your knees still shake. The winds of fulfillment are rising, and your name is in their current. Stay right here in the flow. What unfolds next is the unveiling of what Michael has kept sealed for your protection. Type "I align with heaven's timing" in the comments if your spirit bears witness. Blessing code 2244 is activated for divine order and perfect release. There's a stirring happening even as you hear these words. It is not imagination. It is confirmation. The air around you feels different because Archangel Michael has shifted the battlefield. What once felt like endless warfare is now becoming a landscape of recovery. You have been in a long spiritual night, but dawn is not coming. It has already begun. The faint light you feel in your chest, that unexplainable hope that suddenly returns, is the first crack of that dawn. The angels have moved from defense to delivery, from protection to provision. For months, heaven's plan has been assembling like a puzzle, piece by piece, while you could only see fragments. But now, the image is becoming clear. It's the picture of restoration that looked impossible. There were nights you said, "I can't do this anymore." But you still did. You kept breathing through the ache. You kept praying through confusion. That persistence was not weakness. It was prophecy in motion. Every moment you refused to quit was counted as intercession. And now, that faith has been noticed by heaven's highest ranks. Archangel Michael has personally sealed your next season with divine acceleration. The delay that once felt like a curse was, in truth, heaven reordering your story so that what comes next cannot be stolen again. God is about to make a public table out of what you survived in private. You will eat peace where you once tasted pain. You will rest in rooms where you used to fight to belong. This is not a story of chance. It is a story of exact timing. Heaven never forgot you. It was timing your unveiling. You may have been hidden, but you were never abandoned. The quietness around your life has been the sound of heaven rearranging people, places, and pathways. That is why certain things suddenly ended. Jobs, friendships, patterns, desires. You thought something was breaking, but something was being built. Michael has been removing what cannot survive your miracle. The pruning was protection. Every tear has built an altar. And now that altar is about to speak for you. What you sowed in private tears will bloom in public joy. You are entering a cycle where promises no longer feel distant. The cycle of almost is ending. The Archangel's sword has struck the atmosphere of delay and cut it open. A new wind of divine swiftness is blowing, and it carries your name. But remember this: when the blessing arrives, it must find you awake, not bitter. Shake the dust off your hope. Refuse to see your past through the eyes of failure. Heaven has not wasted 1 second of your pain. It has converted it into the currency of breakthrough. The oil of your anointing was refined in that suffering. Every unanswered prayer was an ingredient, and now the recipe is complete. And now, child of light, it is your moment to speak faith aloud again. Prophecy over your own house, your own mind, your own future. Say, it's not coming, it's here. Speak it with conviction, because when heaven hears faith, it moves faster. Archangel Michael stands with you right now, commanding angelic ranks to ensure that nothing interferes with the fulfillment assigned to your life. Even as you listen, divine alignment is unfolding. Contacts, approvals, reconciliations, opportunities, and healing. You are not waiting for the miracle anymore. The miracle is waiting for your recognition. Lift your eyes. It's already closer than you think. Before this message closes, pause and feel this truth. Heaven never forgets endurance. The universe is about to echo back what you gave it in faith. When it happens, give glory first, because your gratitude becomes a signal that multiplies favor. If this message is resonating, do not keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it right now. Let your comment be your testimony, and your like be your agreement with heaven. If you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel and become part of this divine movement where heaven's messages are delivered straight to your spirit. Spread this light so others can be awakened too. Type "I receive my restoration" in the comments if this word burns within your spirit. Blessing code 3107 has just been activated for divine speed and restoration. Now, listen carefully. There is a sacred invitation in this very moment. The same Archangel Michael who has fought for your life also calls you to partner with heaven in spreading this message across nations. Each word spoken here carries light, and when you support this mission, you help that light reach those still trapped in darkness. This channel is not entertainment. It is a living altar, and your act of giving keeps that altar burning. When you sow into this mission, you are not giving to a person. You are sowing into a divine assignment. Remember, the word says, "He who waters others will himself be watered." Every seed you release here becomes a spiritual river that flows back into your own life. I personally invite you, if you feel the fire stirring within you, to activate your faith through a super thanks, a membership, or a PayPal offering. The link is in the video description below. What you sow today becomes light for another soul tomorrow. As you give, may open heavens rest on your household, and may your name be written among those who built the kingdom with their faith. Your generosity is not a donation, it's a decree. Sow now, and watch what heaven returns. My chosen vessel, the air is shifting again. Can you feel it? That subtle tremor deep inside your chest is not anxiety, it's awakening. Heaven is whispering through the silence, and Archangel Michael is closer than before. You've stepped into the hour of unveiling. What was once tangled is untangling, what felt locked is beginning to move. It is the moment where the unseen becomes visible, where what was once merely promised begins to take shape. You may not see the full picture yet, but you will feel the current. It starts as rest, then clarity, then alignment. You will wake up one morning and know something has changed. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation that heaven has shifted your timeline forward. For months, maybe even years, you've lived between prophecy and manifestation. You've held on to words that felt too heavy to believe and too sacred to let go. You whispered, "When, Lord?" and received only stillness in response. But that stillness was not absence, it was strategy. Heaven doesn't rush miracles, it arranges them. Michael has been stationed at the borders of your destiny, ensuring that what enters this season matches the purity of your preparation. Every closed door was a shield. Every disappointment was a redirection toward what is safe for your spirit. Heaven never denied you. It protected you from counterfeit arrivals that would have cost your peace. Now, the page is turning. The chapter you feared would never end is being sealed by divine hand. You may still feel the residue of your old battles, but they can no longer claim you. Michael's sword has divided you from the cycle of repetition. The pattern that kept circling your life, loss after breakthrough, hope followed by setback, is being shattered. The assignment of all those has expired. This time, what begins will continue. The foundations you are standing on have been rebuilt by heaven itself. Do not fear the unfamiliar stability. It is the solid ground you prayed for. But before the manifestation unfolds fully, Michael instructs you to do one sacred thing: release resentment. The delay taught you endurance, but bitterness will try to steal your reward. Let it go. The weight of the waiting must not travel with you into fulfillment. The ones who misunderstood you, the seasons that broke you, the prayers that felt ignored, all of it was preparation. Heaven was not punishing you, it was positioning you. And now that the positioning is complete, gratitude must become your language. When you thank God in advance, you announce to the atmosphere that you trust the process even before the outcome. There is a prophetic movement happening around your name. Your obedience has triggered the release of divine help. People are being nudged to remember you, to speak your name in rooms you have never entered, to extend opportunities you did apply for. This is the unfolding of what Michael hath been organizing quietly, divine exposure without compromise. The stage that once rejected you is being rebuilt for your voice. The resources that were withheld are being redirected, and the hearts that once ignored your value will witness your rise with reverence. But hear this warning: do not gloat, glorify. When elevation comes, humility must be your fragrance, not pride. The miracle must always lead others back to the source, not to you. Right now, I sense a prophetic sign forming in your life. It may appear as a sudden favor, a long-awaited message, or even an unexpected reconciliation. When it appears, mark it in your spirit and declare, "Heaven remembered me," because indeed heaven has. You are stepping into the evidence phase, the moment when promises stop being spiritual vocabulary and start becoming visible reality. Keep your faith posture strong. Keep your worship consistent. Keep your words aligned with what heaven is doing. Complaining will slow it down, but praise will multiply it. Michael is still at work, sealing what has been unlocked, ensuring nothing interferes with the divine order established for you. Hold on, because what unfolds next carries the signature of divine justice. The same situations that once humiliated you will now honor you. You are not returning to what broke you. You are returning with authority over it. Stand still and watch how the very things that wounded you become your testimony. Type "I stand in divine justice" in the comments if your spirit recognizes this truth. Blessing code 4477 is released for open doors, restored favor, and unshakable peace. My beloved flame of purpose, you have crossed an invisible line, though your natural eyes may not yet see it. The shift has already taken place. The realm that once resisted you now recognizes you. The barriers that seemed immovable are beginning to dissolve, quietly and completely. Archangel Michael has stepped down from warfare and into governance. He is not only fighting for you now, he is establishing the order of your victory. The divine court has ruled in your favor, and the judgment has been executed in silence. That is why some things that used to drain you suddenly feel lighter, some fears no longer carry weight, and certain voices have gone quiet. The noise was never random, it was resistance sensing its expiration. And now, heaven has released you into a new dominion. You must understand something crucial about this next phase. Peace is not the absence of battle. It is the evidence of authority. Michael's presence signifies that what once chased you will now flee from you. You are no longer the one praying for rescue. You are now the one carrying the sound of deliverance. That is why you've been feeling an inner boldness that surprises you, a courage that seems foreign yet familiar. It is your spiritual DNA awakening. God has been teaching you how to move as one who reigns, not one who runs. The season of defense is over. The season of dominion begins. You will notice your prayers changing form. They will sound less like cries and more like decrees. That's because heaven has shifted your language from survival to sovereignty. Michael has been setting angels in formation around your assignments. Projects that were stagnant are about to breathe again. Vision that felt distant is now magnetizing resources. The alignment is so divine that you will not need to chase what is meant for you. It will recognize your frequency and come toward you. There is a divine convergence happening. People, timing, and opportunity are colliding into perfect synchronization. The delay was not a detour. It was calibration. God was aligning everything to ensure that when the miracle manifests, it sustains itself without collapse. What you build in this next year will not crumble because it is being constructed on the blueprint of heaven, not human approval. And now, a sacred warning: not everyone can travel with you into fulfillment. Some companions were essential for the journey of pain, but not for the landscape of promise. The anointing upon your life will begin to expose motives. When it happens, don't fight to keep what heaven is releasing. Michael's sword cuts precisely. Every departure is direction. You are being prepared for circles that demand a higher purity of purpose. Those who misunderstand your silence will simply disqualify themselves from your revelation. And though it may sting, remember, every divine elevation begins with separation. Even light must part from darkness before creation can flourish. You are entering the genesis of your new chapter. Prophetically, there is also wealth transfer taking place, not only in material form, but in influence and insight. God is giving you ideas that carry divine profitability. Doors will open where logic says they should not. Favor will appear where your name was once forgotten. This is not luck. It is legal inheritance. The heavens have reactivated your spiritual rights. Michael guards those rights fiercely, ensuring that what belongs to you cannot be misused by another. Expect your creativity to ignite. Expect divine appointments to multiply. Expect rest to become your greatest weapon, for when your heart is still, your hearing becomes sharper. Child of divine fire, you are walking into the fulfillment of a long-standing prophecy. Every sleepless night has now turned into a seedbed of revelation. You will not only receive the miracle, you will become the vessel through which others find theirs. Heaven's spotlight is not for your ego. It is for God's echo through your life. When your miracle manifests, testify without pride, for your voice is now a trumpet of hope. This generation needs to hear the sound of someone who survived the silence and still believe. As someone is you. Stay tuned to this frequency of revelation. What comes next will unveil how Michael transfers the miracle from the spiritual plane into your physical reality, and you will see the fingerprints of heaven in everything you touch. Type "I reign in divine order" in the comments if your soul feels the confirmation. Blessing code 5588 has been unlocked for divine dominion and heavenly restoration. My awakened one, you are entering a realm where silence will start to speak. What you once called unanswered prayers are about to echo back with divine clarity. Every tear that fell into the night has been recorded as a decree in the archives of heaven. Archangel Michael has stood guard over your timeline, ensuring that not one promise is lost in the confusion of waiting. What is coming next will not feel gradual. It will feel like divine eruption. A sudden alignment, a swift movement, an unexplainable peace that confirms something irreversible has taken place. You will not have to force it. You will simply step into it. Heaven has orchestrated this with such precision that when it arrives, it will feel both brand new and long overdue. This next stage of your story is called manifestation under mercy. You are not being rewarded because you earned it. You are being entrusted because you endured. Michael reports to heaven about your resilience, and heaven responds with favor. Divine resources are already being rerouted in your direction. Contacts are being stirred awake at odd hours, compelled by unseen hands to remember you. Emails, phone calls, opportunities, they are not random. They are angelic signals wearing human form. The favor attached to your name is not optional anymore. It is mandatory. The decree has been signed. The waiting period has expired. You may begin to sense an acceleration that feels almost uncomfortable. That is not pressure. It is prophecy in motion. The things you prayed for in fragments will begin to appear in clusters. Blessings will start arriving in groups, not individually, because heaven is redeeming the time. What you lost in years will be returned in moments. But to hold this wave, you must stay grounded in faith. Don't let the new movement make you forget the one who caused it. Gratitude is the anchor that ensures your miracle doesn't drift away. Every time something shifts in your favor, whisper thank you to heaven, for each whisper becomes a key that unlocks the next level of divine release. Michael is also stirring boldness within you to speak differently. The language of defeat no longer belongs to your mouth. You cannot step into a prophetic season while speaking in the vocabulary of limitation. Replace every "I hope" with "I know." Replace "maybe" with "surely." Speak the way heaven speaks, certain, calm, absolute. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. The moment you begin to speak from authority instead of anxiety, the spiritual realm adjusts to your words. Angels are drawn to conviction, not confusion. When you speak in faith, Michael assigns movement to your words, and what you declare begins to manifest in the natural. Be sensitive to your atmosphere in this time. Certain places, conversations, and habits will suddenly feel heavy or misaligned. That's not coincidence, it's divine sensitivity being heightened. The Holy Spirit and Michael are collaborating to tune your discernment. They are preparing you for the next assignment that comes after your miracle. You were not built merely to receive. You were built to restore. The grace coming upon you will multiply through you. You will begin to carry peace into chaos, clarity into confusion, and faith into fear. People will not understand the calm that follows you, but they will feel it. That is heaven's signature resting upon you. The past season trained you to recognize truth through pain, but the coming season will teach you to recognize glory through peace. You will notice that where you once struggled to hear God's direction, it will now come as a gentle pull, a knowing that requires no explanation. This is the sign that your spirit and heaven are finally in rhythm. You will not need to chase signs anymore. Signs will start to chase you. That's how alignment looks from heaven's perspective. Effortless flow after long endurance. Before we close this divine moment, pause and honor the God who never left, even when you felt forgotten. The same hand that carried you through despair is now writing your new chapter in light. You are stepping into tangible miracles, and they will not fade this time. Keep your eyes open, for the confirmation of what Michael promised will manifest in ways that leave no doubt. Hold your peace and stay alert. What unfolds next carries the visible proof that heaven remembers every detail of your obedience. Type "I am in alignment" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Lesson code 6633 has just been released to establish divine manifestation and unshakable peace. My precious keeper of faith, the hour you feared would never come is now unfolding before you. What you are stepping into is not just a new season. It is a divine settlement. Heaven has concluded its preparation, and Archangel Michael now stands beside you not as a warrior in battle, but as a witness of fulfillment. The records of your endurance have reached their completion, and the scroll that once held your waiting is being rewritten in light. You will soon see visible evidence that the invisible realm has shifted entirely in your favor. The energy of resistance is gone. The atmosphere around you is different because the assignment of delay has been dismantled. Where there was tension, peace now takes residence. Where there was confusion, understanding now flows freely. It is the calm that follows divine victory. Michael had been orchestrating unseen alignments so precise that they could not be rushed. While you questioned, "Why does it take so long?" Heaven answered, "Because the miracle must be mature before it appears." And now it is. The dreams that once felt like distant possibilities are becoming daily reality. Expect confirmations in the smallest forms, a phrase repeated by strangers, numbers appearing in patterns, a psalm carrying words that mirror your prayers. These are not coincidences. They are coded affirmations sent to reassure you that heaven has indeed moved. Your spirit is now synchronized with divine motion. The sound of heaven is beginning to echo through your ordinary moments. Do not be surprised when old fears try to reappear in whispers. They will attempt to make you doubt the new peace that surrounds you. But remember this: shadows always appear right before full light. The enemy has lost jurisdiction, yet it will attempt distraction. Michael instructs you to guard your peace like a crown. When doubt knocks, do not argue with it, silence it with worship. Your praise confuses what used to control you. Each time you honor God instead of questioning Him, you extend your spiritual territory. What once pressed you will now serve you. You are no longer surviving attacks, you are commanding atmospheres. The language of fear is being replaced by the authority of faith. In this very moment, angelic reinforcements are being deployed on your behalf. These are not random guardians. They are fulfillment angels, assigned to finalize the manifestations long delayed. Their task is to ensure that every word spoken by heaven concerning you finds a physical expression. Financial alignments, restored relationships, recovered time, creative expansion, all are part of this package of fulfillment. Your part is to remain available. Do not retreat into small thinking. God did not rescue you to return you to mediocrity. He lifted you so that your life becomes a visible sermon, proof that perseverance invites glory. Michael will ensure that the promises land exactly where obedience has been sown. You will also sense divine courage rising within you to take steps that once terrified you. That is not human confidence. It is heavenly empowerment. When God restores, He not only returns what was lost, He multiplies capacity. You are being entrusted with new responsibilities because you have been found trustworthy in the wilderness. This increase will not overwhelm you because grace is expanding simultaneously. The same hand that strengthened you in struggle will now stabilize you in success. And as the favor multiplies, humility must anchor you. Remember, the higher heaven elevates you, the lower your posture of gratitude must become. Michael stands with his sword sheathed, a sign that the war concerning your destiny is finished. But his presence remains, guarding the fruits of your harvest. The peace you are about to experience will not be temporary. It will be generational. The battles you won will no longer revisit your children or your household. The cycle has been broken completely, and where once you prayed for relief, you will now pray for direction, because freedom demands stewardship. You are not only entering a new chapter, you are becoming one. Others will read your life and find faith again. Your story will minister louder than your words ever could. The beauty of your restoration will not be quiet. It will be contagious. And through it all, heaven will receive the glory that pain tried to steal. Remain still in this awareness. The shift you prayed for is no longer future. It is now. The sound of fulfillment is already in your atmosphere, and Michael's wings have marked your ground as holy. Do not move hastily. Savor this peace. It is proof that heaven has made your promise tangible. Type "I am living the fulfillment" in the comments if this resonates with your inner spirit. Blessing code 7711 hath been activated for generational peace and divine completion. I anointed one of endurance. What once was silence has now become sound. Can you sense it? The frequency of your atmosphere has risen. You are no longer standing at the edge of prophecy. You are inside its unfolding. Archangel Michael stands in the center of your timeline, commanding that every delayed promise take form. There is an authority radiating from you now, one you did not possess before, because it was born from struggle, not status. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every moment you chose faith over fear has built this foundation of glory you are now walking upon. You have been prepared, not punished. The waiting was your refining, and heaven is about to prove why it took this long. There is a shift in the spiritual court, and your name has been read aloud again. This time, not as one requesting mercy, but as one being honored for obedience. The records have been rewritten, and Michael has stamped them with the seal of fulfillment. The areas of your life that looked lifeless are trembling with resurrection energy. Relationships will realign, resources will relocate, and paths will reopen. Not because of effort, but because of authority. The sound of restoration is not noisy. It is steady, deliberate, unstoppable. You will notice doors opening easily that once required you to knock until your knuckles bled. That is the evidence of divine favor now preceding you. What once resisted you now recognizes you as one marked by heaven. The Spirit of God whispers through Michael, "You are entering the phase of visible glory." That means heaven's movements will no longer stay hidden. People will see the fingerprints of divinity all over your life. This visibility is not for fame, it is for testimony. You will not need to prove anything. Your peace will preach louder than your explanations ever could. The same faces that doubted your endurance will witness your reward. But remember, vindication is never meant to humiliate others. It is meant to magnify God. Let humility remain your crown. Gratitude must be your new language, for the next level responds only to hearts anchored in honor. Michael also speaks of divine restoration of time. The seasons you thought were wasted have been redeemed. The years of silence were seed years, and every moment of obedience has become a tree of influence. Heaven is not simply returning what you lost. It is multiplying it with interest. You will soon see opportunities that compress years of effort into days of favor. It will look like acceleration, but it is divine reimbursement. This is why you are feeling an unusual courage to dream again. The dreams that once felt too large for you were never too large for the God who designed them. Michael stands ready to defend those dreams, ensuring that what begins in glory does not end in compromise. Pay attention to the small signs around you, for they are not random coincidences but coded confirmations. You might find yourself waking up at unusual hours with a deep peace or sensing a lightness in spaces that once felt heavy. These are indicators that angelic movements are active in your environment. Your atmosphere is being purified for habitation of blessing. The same house where you wept will become the stage of your joy. The same desk where you wrote your last desperate prayer will now hold testimonies of completion. Michael's message to you in this hour is simple yet powerful. You have crossed from endurance into inheritance. And now, heaven's tone toward you changes. No longer is it hold on, but move forward. The Spirit is instructing you to start acting like it's already done, because it is. Begin preparing space for what you're praying for. Start riot again, playing again, believing again. The miracle is not meant to surprise you. It's meant to meet you ready. Expect divine encounters with people who carry the next key to your assignment. Expect sudden clarity about decisions that once confused you. Expect provision where logic saw only limitation. Every detail has been rehearsed by heaven long before you arrived at this moment. Archangel Michael now stands at the intersection of what was promised and what is manifesting, holding a decree that reads, "The season of aftermath is over. The era of abundance begins. Walk into it boldly. You are not trespassing. You are arriving. What heaven builds cannot be undone by human error. What has been set in motion will not reverse. You are safe in the current of divine completion. Stay near this message, for what unfolds next reveals the deeper mystery of why heaven chose this exact hour to move. The next reveal carries not just promise but divine instruction for what to do with your overflow. Type "I step into abundance" in the comments if this word ignites your faith. Blessing code 8822 has just been released to unlock divine inheritance and irreversible favor. I bearer of light, something extraordinary is stirring around you, almost like the air itself is listening. The atmosphere has changed because heaven has shifted your placement. You are no longer positioned in delay but in divine delivery. Archangel Michael is overseeing the transportation of what you have prayed for from the unseen into the seen. It is happening quietly, yet powerfully. You may not see flashes or hear thunder, but you will sense movement. Doors that once refused to budge will unlock without effort, and people who once ignored your call will reach for you without reason. That is not luck. That is alignment. Heaven is rewriting the rhythm of your life. The rhythm of struggle is giving way to the melody of fulfillment. Everything that once worked against you is now working for you. This new atmosphere requires your full awareness. You cannot carry yesterday's fear into today's faith. The moment you agree with God's timing, heaven began to rebuild your confidence. Michael has guarded your transformation so carefully that even your mistakes have been redirected into miracles. Every delay was training your discernment. You had to learn the language of heaven, how to trust even when silent, how to wait without wasting, how to believe when there is no evidence. And now, that language has become your power. You are fluent in faith. The same faith that sustained you will now accelerate you. God has not only heard your prayer, He has answered it in ways that will leave you awestruck. Michael's message is clear. You have been weighed and found faithful. The court of heaven has approved your release into tangible abundance. This abundance is not only material, it is spiritual clarity, emotional balance, and divine companionship. People will be drawn to you not because of your achievements, but because of your anointing. They will sense the authority you carry, the peace that surrounds you, and the strength that doesn't shout but still commands attention. You have been fashioned in the silence for this very season. Heaven did not just build a blessing for you, It built a version of you that could sustain that blessing. Now, the flow begins. The river that was once blocked has burst through the barriers. Expect an avalanche of divine connections. Expect alignments that feel almost too perfect to be coincidence. A name you once mentioned in passing will reappear in your life with purpose. An opportunity you gave up on will suddenly reopen. God is restoring not only what you lost, but the confidence that loss tried to drain from you. Michael's presence ensures that your blessing will not come mixed with sorrow. This is not a fragile season. It is fortified by grace. The ground beneath you has been sanctified by the prayers you once cried over it. You have bled for this ground, and now it will bear fruit. But hear this prophetic wisdom. With elevation comes exposure. Some will celebrate what heaven is doing in your life. Others will not understand it. Do not chase explanation. Let fruit speak where words would fail. The light you carry will both comfort and convict, and that is its design. You are not called to blend in. You are called to illuminate. Michael stands behind you, ensuring that your light does not attract what cannot handle your level of purity. You will notice that wrong associations fall away faster now. Don't grieve that pruning. It is divine filtration. Heaven does not allow contamination where promise is being fulfilled. You may feel the stretching of new responsibilities approaching. That is heaven enlarging your tent. Your influence will begin to reach places your feet have not yet walked. Words you've spoken in private will begin to echo through others, as though the universe itself has decided to amplify your obedience. This is how God multiplies your impact. And as your voice travels further, remember, every sound of truth carries power, and every word of gratitude builds protection around your increase. You are not simply receiving, you are becoming a conduit. What flows through you now will flow into nations. So pause and breathe. Feel how light the air has become around you. That's not imagination, that's angelic movement. The weight that once pressed against your chest has been lifted. You are finally walking in the atmosphere your spirit always knew existed. This is the season where heaven trusts you with visibility. Walk gently but confidently. Speak less, pray more. Move when peace pulls you, then stay still when rest instructs you. What happens next will not just confirm the promise. It will crown it. The very air you breathe carries testimony now. Every corner of your life will begin to whisper, "Heaven remembered." Type "I am walking in my promise" in the comments if your spirit witnesses this truth. Blessing code 9933 is activated for divine elevation, spiritual maturity, and supernatural favor. And before we seal this message, listen carefully. If these words have stirred your faith and you feel heaven calling you to be part of this divine mission, this is your moment to act. When you support this sacred movement, you are not merely giving. You are sowing into the advancement of heaven's voice on earth. Every word spoken here is a seed of light that reaches souls standing at the edge of despair. Your offering becomes the oil that keeps this flame alive. The Lord declares in His word, "Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed." As you give through a super thanks, a membership, or directly through PayPal, the link is in the description. You join Michael's army in spreading revelation across the nations. Do it now, not as charity, but as prophecy in action. Every seed carries a soul, and every act of faith opens a portal of divine return. I speak blessing over every giver. May your house never run dry, your path never grow dim, and your faith never lose its voice. My vessel of divine radiance, there are moments when heaven moves so gently that the world mistakes it for stillness. Yet what appears silent right now is anything but empty. Beneath the calm, Archangel Michael is finalizing what your spirit has been expecting. He has transitioned from guarding your breakthrough to guiding your next assignment. You have stepped beyond answered prayers and into divine purpose. Every event of your past, each wound, each delay, each disappointment, was the curriculum for this chapter. The miracle you once waited for is no longer your destination. It has become your foundation. Heaven is now preparing to use what was meant to destroy you as the very evidence that God reigns supreme in your life. You may feel an unfamiliar rest as you listen. That is not fatigue. That is the peace of completion settling into your atmosphere. The war for your destiny is over. You are no longer wrestling for breakthrough. You are walking in it. This stillness is sacred. Do not rush it. Michael's wings have encircled you, not as a shield this time, but as a mantle. You are being wrapped in divine authority. Heaven's approval is now visible upon you. That is why your environment feels lighter, your discernment sharper, and your prayers quicker to manifest. This is what it feels like when heaven no longer fights for you, but begins to fight through you. You have been transformed from survivor to steward, from recipient to representative. This stage of your journey is called the proving of promise. You are now being entrusted with opportunities that test your readiness for larger realms. God will place you in rooms that require quiet strength, not loud explanation. You will stand in places where favor feels intimidating, but do not shrink. Michael's sword has cleared your name in the spirit, and no earthly opposition can revoke what heaven has written. The tables are turning in your favor, not because you demanded it, but because you remained faithful when silence was your only companion. That silent faith with the loudest worship heaven never heard. You will begin to notice that divine patterns follow you now. Ideas that once came sporadically will begin to flow without interruption. Creativity will bloom where exhaustion once lived. The very things that drained your energy will now fuel your purpose. You will sense the presence of guidance even in ordinary tasks, emails, meetings, conversations. Do not dismiss them as routine. Every small detail is now part of a larger divine choreography. Michael ensures that nothing is wasted in your timeline. Even the smallest act of obedience triggers ripples that reach further than you can imagine. The butterfly effect of faith has begun in your life, and its impact will be generational. In this sacred space of fulfillment, a new instruction is being whispered to your heart. Guard the oil. You have paid too high a price to let distractions spill it. Not every invitation is alignment. Not every platform is purpose. Discern carefully. You are no longer called to chase opportunities. Opportunities are called to find you. When you remain still in truth, the right doors will open without you knocking. Heaven prefers movement born of peace, not panic. Michael stands beside you to ensure that what opens now stays open and what closes remains closed for your protection. This next wave will also expose imitation. Just as light reveals dust in the air, the anointing on your life will reveal motives in others. Do not react. Observe. Let God handle what He exposes. Your task is not retaliation, but revelation. Respond with wisdom, not emotion. Those who misread your humility will eventually see the strength behind it. For humility is not weakness, it is the proof of power under control. That is the essence of Michael's training over your life. Quiet authority that cannot be shaken. You have entered a cycle of divine fruitfulness. What you touch will prosper not because of luck but because of alignment. As that is where there once was effort. Expect acceleration without exhaustion. Expect clarity in decisions that once felt confusing. This is what divine momentum feels like. Heaven doing the heavy lifting while you simply follow the flow. And as it unfolds, remain thankful. Gratitude is the atmosphere in which miracles multiply. Pause now and breathe deeply. Feel how the presence of God saturates your space. You are not the same person who started this journey. The very energy of your soul has changed frequencies. You are walking proof that endurance births glory. The next move you make will not just bless you, it will release light for others still waiting in their night. You are becoming heaven's evidence on earth. Type "I am proof of heaven's faithfulness" in the comments if this truth burns in your spirit. Blessing code 1001 is now active, releasing divine wisdom, completion, and unshakable authority. My pillar of divine endurance, the moment you are living in right now is not random. It is orchestrated with holy precision. The stillness that surrounds you carries the sound of movement. Heaven is working in stealth mode, rearranging everything that once felt uncertain into divine alignment. Archangel Michael stands in your atmosphere like a silent guardian, overseeing each step with the precision of eternity. You are standing in the middle of prophecy turning into reality, and even though your eyes cannot yet see it all, your spirit can already feel the tremor of transformation. The old energy of resistance has surrendered. The unseen walls have fallen. What once required you to fight will now yield before you without struggle. For so long, you believed that silence meant absence. But the truth is, the silence was strategy. God was training your senses to discern presence without proof. You had to learn that peace is louder than panic, that stillness is stronger than striving. Michael has been with you in every quiet night, sharpening your spiritual hearing so that when the next instruction comes, you won't need confirmation. You'll simply know. That knowing is beginning to awaken inside you. It's not an emotion. It's a revelation. You are realizing that heaven has not just answered you. It has entrusted you. There is a difference. An answer gives relief. A trust gives responsibility. You are being trusted now with influence, with wisdom, with the power to create change. Do not be surprised when the pace of your life begins to accelerate. This acceleration is not chaos. It is divine current. Michael is releasing momentum into your path. What once took months will take days. What once felt impossible will become natural. Your steps are now synchronized with divine rhythm. You are being carried by grace, not pushed by pressure. Even your body will begin to feel lighter, your thoughts clearer, your emotions steadier. It is the physical reflection of spiritual order returning. Every cell in your being is responding to heaven's command, "Be still and know." You have graduated from waiting for miracles to walking in them. In this divine transition, the Spirit of God is reintroducing you to your own voice. The world tried to silence it through disappointment and delay, but heaven is amplifying it again. You will speak, and things will move. Your words now carry weight because they have been tested through wilderness. Every declaration you make from this point forward echoes through realms. Be mindful of what you say, for your tongue has become an instrument of creation. Michael's sword is no longer only in his hand. It is mirrored in your speech. When you decree peace, storms will obey. When you command clarity, confusion will scatter. When you release blessing, it will find its target without delay. You are no longer praying from earth hoping heaven hears. You are now praying from heaven, releasing what earth must align with. There is also a divine justice being written in your name. The wrongs that were done to you are now being rewritten as testimonies. Those who underestimated your endurance will have to witness your elevation. But do not let vengeance occupy your thoughts. Justice belongs to God, and He delivers it with mercy. Your assignment is not to prove yourself. It is to preserve your purity. Michael is ensuring that what is restored to you comes with no trace of bitterness. The blessing must remain clean, and so must your heart. Let gratitude wash every memory of pain until all that remains is wisdom. The Lord is also opening your spiritual eyes to see patterns that once confused you. Suddenly, things from years ago will begin to make sense. Every disappointment was direction, every loss was preparation. The scattered puzzle pieces of your past are now forming a complete image, a design that could only have been drawn by heaven. And as you begin to understand, peace will replace regret. You will no longer say, "Why did this happen?" Instead, you will whisper, "Now I see." That understanding is the signature of divine maturity, and it marks the beginning of legacy. This is the point where your life stops being about endurance and starts becoming evidence. The very faith that carried you will now carry others. People will be drawn to your peace, to your calm confidence. They will sense something eternal in you, something unexplainable yet undeniable. That is the fragrance of divine completion. Heaven does not anoint you for applause. It anoints you for impact. And the impact you are about to have will ripple beyond generations. Before this message closes, let your heart remember, every moment of pain was a seed. Every act of faith was a builder's stone. Every tear was a prayer that heaven answered by preparing this hour. You are standing in prophecy fulfilled. The angels have finished their assignments of battle and are now celebrating your arrival into wholeness. Type "I am living in divine completion" in the comments if your soul bears witness to this truth. Blessing code 1144 is now active, releasing divine justice, fulfilled promises, and unshakable restoration. My flame of divine truth, the air around you is holy tonight. It is not ordinary. It is charged with evidence. You may not hear trumpets or see flashes of light, but the shift is complete. Heaven has taken its stance around you, and Archangel Michael stands in command of this new phase of your life. Every spiritual battle that once surrounded you has been subdued, and now the angelic order moves to establish permanence. You have endured, you have stood, and now you are being sealed. The sealing is sacred. It is heaven's way of saying, this one belongs to the promise. You are not at the edge of victory. You are standing in it. Every delay, every denial, every detour has brought you to this very threshold. What is ahead is no longer promise in theory. It is manifestation in motion. Michael whispers to your spirit, you have crossed the realm of waiting into the realm of walking. This is where divine stability begins to bloom. The ground beneath you, once shifting with uncertainty, has solidified. Heaven has set its foundation, and you are standing on divine architecture. The cracks of your past have been filled with the gold of God's mercy. You are whole, not because you avoided breaking, but because you survived it. The glory that now surrounds you is not delicate. It is indestructible. Every scar has become a testimony, every battle a credential. You carry the fragrance of perseverance, and heaven calls it beautiful. There will be visible confirmation in your world soon. The things you once said would chase will begin to pursue you. Divine timing is not random. It is exact. Expect the unexpected, a sudden call, a surprising invitation, an overdue blessing resurfacing without effort. The pace of divine orchestration will astonish you, but do not let haste replace humility. The world around you will start to notice your peace before it sees your progress, and that is how heaven marks its chosen. Peace becomes the perfume of fulfilled prophecy. Michael is already preparing introductions and encounters that align perfectly with the blueprint of your purpose. You will recognize them by the way they bring clarity, not confusion, peace, not pressure. Follow peace. It is heaven's compass. The enemy's last weapon against those stepping into divine fulfillment is distraction. It will come subtly, as comfort, as nostalgia, even as unnecessary opportunities. You must discern carefully now. The new level is holy ground, and not all who walked with you through pain are assigned to walk with you into promise. Michael's sword will make precise separations. Do not interpret these separations as loss. They are preservation. You are not being isolated. You are being insulated. Heaven protects what it has anointed. You are now a carrier of divine assignments, and purity is your greatest protection. This is the season of instruction. As your miracles unfold, heaven will begin to speak specific directives. They will come as gentle nudges, sudden insights, or quiet impulses. Record them. Honor them. For every new realm requires new obedience. The instructions that brought you through the wilderness are not the same ones that will sustain you in the garden. God is not only changing your surroundings, He is upgrading your rhythm. Listen carefully to your inner stillness. That is where heaven now whispers. Michael will amplify that whisper until you know exactly where to step. And as you walk forward, remember, this light is not for you alone. You are becoming a living prophecy, a carrier of clarity for others who are still wandering through uncertainty. Your voice, your story, your transformation, they are all divine tools. Heaven has not raised you merely to display favor. It has raised you to release revelation. You will find people crossing your path whose pain looks like your past. Speak life to them. When you do, Michael will stand beside you, reinforcing your words with divine authority. Your testimony is a sword. Speak it, and darkness will retreat. This is your moment of divine inheritance, where everything that once drained you now begins to serve you. Time is redeeming itself. Doors are responding to your name. Provision is locating your need. And as this happens, keep your posture low before the throne. Pride has no permission to enter this realm. The more heaven exalts you, the deeper your humility must grow. Gratitude will be your safeguard. Worship will be your weapon, and love will remain your law. You have been refined in secret so that your manifestation could not be sabotaged. Now you rise, not as a survivor, but as a sign, a living proof that heaven keeps records and fulfills promises. Stand tall in this truth. What God begins, no force in creation can interrupt. You have stepped into the rhythm of divine certainty, and the universe itself must now adjust to accommodate your destiny. Stay close to this message, because what unfolds next will not only confirm your victory, it will reveal the higher assignment hidden within it. Heaven never ends with blessing. It begins there. Type "I am sealed in divine victory" in the comments if your heart resonates with this truth. Blessing code 1199 is now released, sealing divine stability, eternal peace, and irreversible breakthrough. My crowned child of light, this is the hour of revelation fulfilled. You have reached the end of one era and the beginning of another. Heaven has turned the final page of your waiting, and Archangel Michael now stands before you with a scroll in his hand. It bears your name written in light, proof that your journey through trial has been acknowledged in the highest courts of heaven. Every prayer you thought vanished into the air was caught, measured, and answered in perfect sequence. The unseen years were never wasted. They were sacred construction. Every tear watered the soil beneath this very moment. You are standing in the full bloom of divine intention. The storm that once defined you now exists only as testimony. You are no longer a survivor. You are a standard, a living decree of God's faithfulness. The silence you once feared has turned into a language of revelation. You can now interpret what confusion once concealed. Every no was protection. Every delay was choreography. Michael whispers to your spirit, you were never waiting for heaven. Heaven was waiting for you to become ready for the promise. And now, you are. The ground that once trembled under fear is now solid with destiny. You walk with the calm of one who knows that divine timing cannot be stolen. Heaven's government has placed you in perfect sequence with eternity's plan. You are synchronized with prophecy, aligned with purpose, and surrounded by angels who recognize your new authority. The evidence of divine fulfillment will begin subtly. A conversation that changes direction, a letter that arrives at the right moment, an opportunity that feels like déjà vu but carries the weight of destiny. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Michael has sealed your next steps so that even what feels like detours are actually divine shortcuts. You have been released into the realm of irreversible blessing. From this day, what comes to you will no longer come through struggle but through inheritance. You have proven faithful in the furnace. Now heaven releases favor in abundance. Your hands, once weary from striving, will now harvest without resistance. Your name will open doors not by fame but by favor. Yet even in abundance, the Spirit whispers, "Stay anchored." The same humility that brought you here must now sustain you. Do not lose reverence for stillness. Continue to protect your peace like a crown, because peace is the throne on which wisdom sits. The more you rest in divine calm, the louder heaven speaks. You are entering the stage of holy productivity, creating, building, healing, teaching, all under the rhythm of grace. Do not rush. Let divine timing remain your rhythm. The oil of patience that carried you through the wilderness will keep your lamp burning in the palace. Michael's presence ensures that no corruption can mingle with your calling. Look around your life. You will soon see reflections of answered prayers manifesting in ordinary form. The mundane will sparkle with meaning. The familiar will feel new again. That is how you know heaven is near, when normal moments turn sacred without warning. Take time to breathe gratitude into every blessing. Speak life over every space you occupy. For now, your atmosphere is holy ground. Angels record words in this season, so let your speech mirror heaven's sound, soft, sure, and full of faith. Now, as this chapter closes, heaven extends a new invitation. Share the light. You are not meant to keep this revelation confined to personal testimony. You are a vessel through which others will learn to trust again. When you speak of what God has done, speak with conviction, not pride. Your story is a bridge for the broken and a signal to the weary. Every miracle you manifest is an instruction to someone still waiting for theirs. You have become a living prophecy fulfilled. And Michael, the Archangel of divine justice, stands ready to partner with you as you walk into the ministry of manifestation, turning revelation into impact. This moment also carries a sacred command. Let gratitude rise louder than memory. The past is over. The promise is permanent. The angels who fought beside you now rejoice in your victory. Heaven records this hour as the completion of a long battle, and your life as the evidence of God's mercy. The sound of chains breaking has turned into the sum of blessings arriving. It is done, sealed, and secure. So, before you close this message, lift your heart in thanks. You made it, not by strength, not by chance, but by grace. You have crossed the line where prophecy ends and legacy begins. From here forward, every sunrise will remind you, heaven remembers. Type "I live in divine fulfillment" in the comments if your heart recognizes this truth. Blessing code 7770 has now been released to seal your destiny and victory, peace, and divine overflow. And now, beloved, let your gratitude become a seed. This mission does not end here. The same voice that carried you through revelation continues to reach countless hearts across the world. If this message has touched your spirit, consider becoming a vessel through which light travels further. When you give, through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal offering, you do not give to a platform. You give to heaven's purpose. Your act of generosity fuels the voice that delivers comfort to the weary and faith to the forgotten. God says, "Those who build my altar will never lack oil." As you sow into this ministry, your gift becomes prophecy in motion, opening portals of divine return over your life. The link to give is in the description below. Move now in faith, for giving at the moment of revelation multiplies the blessing attached to it. May your offering rise like incense before the throne, and may open heaven's rest upon your household forevermore.